This is going to be incredible. I hope you have your notes, your pen and paper, because we are going to jump in to the exact 4 steps that you need to be able to go from overwhelmed into organized using a home management system. I am Chelsi Jo, and if you're feeling overwhelmed at all or a lot trying to juggle all the pieces of running your home while being present for your family, then you are in the right place. Not that long ago, actually just about 6 years ago, I was drowning in to-do lists. I was missing important things. I was trying to keep up and I felt like I could never get ahead. I felt like I didn't have time for myself. I felt like I was pushing everything on the back burner and just putting out fires all the time. That all changed when I discovered the power of simple systems. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to go from overwhelmed to organized using a home management system that actually works for busy moms like me and you. And we're going to break this down into 4 simple steps. Before we dive in, I want to paint a picture for you, okay, of what this might look like when you have a simple 4-step home management system in place. Imagine waking up knowing every single day exactly what needs to get done and when it's going to get done, and that you have enough time for doing all of the things. You have a clear plan for meals. You know that your house is going to stay tidy. It won't look like a bomb went off at the end of the day. And best of all, you are going to be able to have your family actively involved in the whole process. So you're not a dictator, you're not yelling, you're not resentful, and you are not taking on the burden of everything while everyone sits around and treats you like a short order cook. That is what a good home management system will do for you. And you absolutely are going to learn how to do that right now. It's a lot simpler than you think. Here's where so many people fall into the trap of not setting up a home management system. They get afraid. They're not sure where to start. They've tried things before. You see, most moms try running their homes by the seat of their pants. They play whack-a-mole. They get stuck in an overwhelm cycle, and they end up flying by the seat of their pants every single day with no real progress being made. All of their time at the end of the day doesn't really amount to much. Absolutely exhausted, not even certain what they did, where all of their energy went. The to-do list just keeps getting longer. And this leads them, and maybe you've done this before, searching for options on the internet that typically are super cut and dry. They're rigid systems. They're complex. It's based on a really intricate schedule, and things get really complicated quickly, pretty hard to wrap your brain around. Or they end up DIYing this whole entire plan by themselves with some type of expensive planner or some fancy Notion app or app in the phone, and then it just doesn't end up working because it's not a proven method that they know that they can depend on over and over and over and over again. These things end up making us feel like failures, but it really doesn't have anything to do with you at all. Trying to change everything at once and getting overwhelmed and then giving up is not a reflection of you or your capabilities, your family, or what you're even capable of at all. Oftentimes, moms have curveballs thrown at them and they don't have the right home management system in place, like a sick kid or a busy week at work or whatever ends up happening, because with children, this is what happens. Every day is different. And they're not sure how to adapt to that because they're already in that urgent fight or flight. And so everything is urgent. But it doesn't have to be that way. So let's break down the 4 simple steps to create a home management system that actually works so that you can go from overwhelmed to organized. I've taught this exact home management system to thousands of moms, and I still use it every single day of my life. I am running a multiple 6-figure business with multiple team members that I started as an idea in my closet when I was trying to transition out of being a corporate mom, wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, ended up being a homeschooling mom. I've done all the things as a mom, and through every single one of those seasons that I just mentioned, this is the home management system that I have been using and I'm still using today. So this is where your notepad and your worksheet is going to come in really handy. Step 1 is a system for your time. So how do we get time management on board in a way that is not your Google Calendar? It is not a rigid schedule for what you have to get done every day. Step one is to create a system for your time that is what I created, and it's called the 5-block time blocking method. So we're going to create a schedule based off of 5 time blocks. If you've ever tried time blocking, you've looked it up on Pinterest, YouTube, Google, or the like, it doesn't look like mine. It's very different. I know that your entire life, including mine, and anyone else that is running a busy life can fit and should fit their whole life into these 5 time blocks. Here's the 5 time blocks. It is your morning routine block, the things that you do in the morning before your kids wake up. Then it's your AM block. Kids are up, before school routine. Lots of little things happen in there. We'll break this down in a little bit. The third is your work block. And if you're homeschooling, we do that in the AM block as well. The fourth is your PM block, where we're back to focus on kids, our home, all hands on deck. We're not working. We know exactly what needs to get done every evening. And then after the kids go to bed, we bump into our nighttime routine block, where we're turning off our screens, we're focusing inward, we're bringing our brain down, and we're really reflecting on what happened that day and looking forward into the next day. Every day we repeat those 5 things. From the time you open your eyes until you go to bed at night, you are able to intentionally use every single minute of your day. Instead of this rigid hour by hour scheduling system that most people use, I've actually created these really flexible time blocks. So some Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have a longer work block because we'll homeschool in that morning, or I hit the gym before I start work. And Tuesday, Thursdays are really short. I go straight to work. So it's very flexible, but my whole life fits. It's these buckets and these categories, right? And so I have flexibility that meets the real life demands that I deal with. Number 2, here's the second step to be able to create a home management system that will get you organized and get you out of being overwhelmed, is a system for all of your to-dos. This is all about managing that to-do list. The to-do list that's never ending. My to-do list on any given day has 2 to 5 things on it for the whole week. The whole week has 2 to 5 things on it. And it's not because I don't have a lot to do. Again, my kids are in multiple extracurriculars. My husband works from home and is a firefighter. I run a business. I support external family members, older family members. I also am pretty heavily involved in ministry work, and I run my company, and I take care of my home and our laundry and our schedule and the meal planning and the food and the cooking and the cleaning. And my husband helps with bills. We'll talk about that a little bit too, but I do have a lot on my to-do list. We've got braces and we need to get in because there's a wire poking. Like, it's all the things, and I definitely have to manage all of those. And so my to-do list, however, is reduced by about 90%. And this step number 2 in your home management system, which is a key component, will reduce your to-do list by about 90% simply by using a fundamental needs system. So this is the system that will allow you to address the fundamental core needs that you and your family have every single week on autopilot. So instead of writing an endless to-do list, I'm organizing basic fundamental needs like nourishment, rest, connection, growth, and certain random one-off tasks as well. This gives you a sense of predictability, something that our minds and our spirit and our hearts can really depend on to feel safe, to relax, get out of that alarming, reactionary, everything's burning on fire, fight or flight feeling constantly. Our nervous system relaxes. This is something that will absolutely change your life. So how does this fundamental needs system work? Well, I want you to be able to ensure that you're prioritizing what truly matters instead of all the things falling through the cracks all the time. So your fundamental needs system, really, essentially, I have 8, and I call it the grade 8. And this is what I like to teach. Fundamental needs system assesses the 8 key things that you should be working on every single week. I put them in my Google Calendar and my paper planner because I teach a hybrid time management system, which I have right here with me, actually. This is the 5-block method that I mentioned earlier and what it looks like. This is my paper planner, and these are my time blocks. And these are my routine stacks that I put inside of them. And all of these cute little highlighted notes with a heart next to them, these are my fundamental needs. And so the core things that are fundamental that I have to get done every week, and I recommend you putting these in place, are a Sunday reset to be able to reset your entire home management system. Some type of family fun that doesn't include screens. Maybe it's outside. Maybe it's 30 minutes of just some communication cards or conversation cards. Maybe it's kickball, maybe it's something that you're intentionally connecting on Mondays or Fridays on the way home from a sports activity, right? And then any kind of physical movement, a work block or a homeschool block, depending on which one of those you're doing, or both if you're doing both. Then a date night, and also a to-do. So I put aside 1 to 2 hours every week to tackle the random things. Like my random to-do list says make an appointment for the dentist for Bailey, finish my communication board, send over documentations to the school, and call Verizon. And so those are like, I sit down for 2 hours. Well, actually, that was only like 30 minutes. It was very quick this week. And so I only had to schedule 30 minutes for those things. And then meal planning and zone cleaning. Those are the last of the fundamental needs. So whenever you take all of those and you put them in to your home management system and you repeat them every single week, this takes most everything off of your to-do list except the random things that are left. This is the magic, which it's not even that magical. This is the very simple, straightforward system that you can use. That is called my fundamental needs system. Okay, let's move into step number 3. This is amazing. This is specifically going to be focusing on keeping up with the housework. You need a system to be able to keep up with the dishes and the laundry and the toilets and tidying everything. This is so vital. This is one of the things that consumes women the most. It feels like drudgery, and I really want to challenge you to pour into this area of your home management system. Now, this really focuses on 3 core systems that I want to share with you. And by putting these in place, which are actually part of your fundamental needs system. So we've already covered when you're going to be doing them, but the specific systems that I'm talking about, one is a zone cleaning system. And so fundamentally, we have to hit that every single week. And I teach to clean your home in zones. You're going to set up your house into 4 zones, and every week you hit a zone. If you need to hit a zone twice a month, like your kitchen, and I'm talking about deep cleaning, not tidying, not surfaces. I'm talking about the deep cleaning. So imagine you were going to hire out, and you also could definitely outsource this, but if you are cleaning your house on your own, which most of us are, or a lot of us are, imagine how often you would want them to come deep clean your home. Would it be once a month? Would it be twice a month? Would it be every week? Twice a month feels great. And so you would double up your zones. You would do zone 1 and 2, then 3 and 4. Then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in the 4 weeks of that month. Now, how do you keep your house tidy in between deep cleaning? Well, you put tidy cues in. And so the place where I put all of my tidy cues are right in the middle, which I'm going to show you a different week here. I put my tidy cues between a transition of time blocks. And this just means that anytime my time blocks match and meet each other, you can put a little asterisk there, which I actually already have this memorized like the back of my hand, and my whole entire family does this without even thinking about it anymore. But if you look here, you'll see that I just put a little star or an asterisk in, and that is my tidy cue. You could write the name of that tidy cue, but essentially what it means is you're building in 5 to 15 minutes before you transition into the new block to leave your environment better than the way that you found it. And I did this hand over hand with my little kids when they were young, and we're still doing it. They're 7 and almost 13 now. And so we have to give verbal prompts and reminders. Hey, you left a napkin out. But essentially, everyone knows that we leave our environment better than the way that we found it. And the last and most important part of keeping up with the house chores here in step 3 is to ensure that you have a meal planning system on board. So this is the third system that's really important in this step. And I teach a very, very antiquated old school system that is not complicated, that really consists of menu cards, like little index cards that you can make super cute. And so essentially you're going to take your family's top 10 favorite meals, you're going to put them on index cards, and you're going to put them in an index box. And these are meals every weekend. You can add to them, but start with 10. because that'll give you 2 weeks of meals, right? And you might even repeat. Maybe it's hamburgers and French fries. Maybe it's mac and cheese and hot dogs. Maybe it's lasagna. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday. Maybe it's rice bowls. I don't know what your family's favorites are, right? But you put that on the front of the card and the kids can go and they can pick it out. And then they just take that and they clip it on, or you magnet that on. And Monday through Sunday, you have all of your meals ready to go. And no one will ever ask you what's for dinner ever again. All right, let's move into the final step of creating a home management system that will get you completely organized, move you out of overwhelm, and it is ensuring, this is my favorite, that your family is involved in your home management. There's 2 parts to this. First, let me just say that you were never intended to do all of this on your own. You have so many capable hands and legs and brains in your family. And what's super important for you to visualize in your mind, and I always tell moms that I work with this, if you know the drill, then they will know the drill. So the first key part of this is ensuring that you do have a home management system in place, that you can actually start outsourcing bits and pieces of that. Well, how do you do that? 1, you do a strengths assessment. You are starting to look at what people's strengths are. Are they good at taking out the trash? Do they seem to be on it? They don't briff back attitude when you say, hey, would you take out the trash? They like that, right? Do they like to vacuum? Do they like to clean toilets because they're 4 and that's fun for them? Obviously, I support a very chemical-free home. And so my kids are very involved in cleaning because we don't use chemicals to clean. And then there's so many different things, from finances and all of your fundamental needs and setting up the calendar. Some of you may have husbands that are great at this. Some of you will be like, absolutely not happening. But there are things that your family is really great at, and you nurture them and you nurture your home on a regular basis, and you'll be able to know like that what they are and aren't inclined to do. So that's the assessment that I want you to do, is just be really observant. And second is ensuring that you're going to set up a communication board for them to be able to know what this home management system is. The communication that you're going to outwardly convey to them is just a space on your wall in your home that has a calendar there. It has your meal plan there. It has those little to-dos that you talked about doing for the week, like making a dentist appointment. Let me see what were all the ones that I ticked off on that week. Making a dentist appointment, finishing up a few things on the communication board, making a phone call to Verizon and sending some documents over to the school. I pop those on that list and everybody else can pitch in and help me. They also can put their own things on the list so that you can help each other. These are really, really, really important pieces of being able to communicate out to them. Also, for those of you who are a digital-based family, being that it is 2025 now, I do have a calendar of all of our appointments in my Google Calendar, and that is shared with our teens and with my husband 100%. And so that is another kind of next step level of ensuring that everyone knows where everyone is supposed to be at all times. That is a big piece of communicating the home management system. So there's all of the steps that are very straightforward to be able to build a home management system. These steps, if you build them slowly over time, which I'm going to talk about practically how to put these in place, are really going to create a functional home management system for you. Good news is I actually have step 1 and 2 completely done for you, and they are absolutely free. So I have been doing this for a very long time, and I have 2 free resources, my time blocking workbook and my fundamental needs workbook. You do these and you have step 1 and step 2 completely done. Just all you have to do is download them from my website, fill them out, and it will give you your time blocks. You'll be able to walk away, have a blank sheet in there that looks just like this. It looks exactly like this, and it teaches you how to build out your time blocks. So it will look just like this. And you can go to chelsijo.co/time blocking workbook to be able to get that. And then also chelsijo.co/fundamental needs workbook. And that will take you through an assessment. It will give you your grade 8, your fundamental needs, help you assess what's working and not working. What are those core fundamental things that you need to be doing in your life every single week. You can also learn all about my systems for home and for business by following me on YouTube and on any podcast streaming app that you listen to. at Systemize Your Life. That is where I share weekly tips for juggling your home and your business. So if you're ready to dive deeper into all things systems from chelsijo.co, please head over to my website. I have all of my free resources on there. A lot of things that we touched on in here, I have free downloads for, plus all the programs where I teach my strategic home management system that takes you from overwhelmed to organized in 4 weeks, and my business growth system for those of you who are juggling a home and a business. Please remember that if you are feeling overwhelmed in any capacity, it does not have to stay that way. These are very simple systems to put in place. Package them up and create your mega, massive, transformative home management system that will run smoothly and give you so much time for the things that you really want to focus on, like hugs and eye contact and nourishment and growth and being able to take care of yourself too. Make sure you grab those free workbooks, and I can't wait to connect with you over on YouTube and my podcast very soon.